So hello everybody, good evening, welcome to Officers Adda 247 official YouTube channel. This is the English medium channel where you are watching this particular video, and today as always we are here to discuss another unit of IE and IFS, that is unit number 13, which falls in the module B of your IE IFS component, and the unit's name is supply and demand. Okay, so I hope that everybody has revised the unit number 12, 11 and all those previous units, made notes out of them, plus also practiced the questions, because until and unless we practice, we won't be able to fetch good marks. Okay, there is a high probability that even without practicing we can score a decent marks, you can say, for in the range of 30 to 40. But in order to excel in this exam, the only mantra which you must have with you is try to apply the concepts which you are learning here. And how you will apply? Through the mock tests. Fine. So do solve questions as much as you can. We also have our test series and the courses are also available, and they are designed in such a way that you can easily qualify the respective components and in particular the whole exam as well. Okay, so let's start today's session. If you guys have any doubt whatsoever pertaining to the last session, or for that matter in general, you want to ask any kind of doubt regarding the preparation or the study material, you can ask me. Okay, fine. So I think that there are no doubts as of now. Still, if you have any kind of doubt, I'm repeating myself, you can either ask me right now, or you can also leave the same doubt in the comment section if you are watching the recorded format of this particular class. So let's start units number 13, that is supply and demand. Now what is supply, what is demand? A very common term. Fine. When we talk about economics or day-to-day economics, fine, day-to-day economics, we often hear these terms, supply and demand. If a particular shop is having, let's say, supply of a particular kind of brand, let's suppose the brand is for the apparels, the clothing brands, but there is no demand for that particular brand, no demand is there. So do you think this shop will sustain its business? No, the business will fall apart. Why? Because there is no demand. So if there is no demand, there will not be any profit, and ultimately the business of this shopkeeper will fall down. Another example, if supposingly there is a product, or you can say let's assume some food item. Okay, if there is a food item which is being demanded by the particular consumers, and the food item, let's suppose, is what? It is oranges. Okay, oranges are in demand. Fine, they have good demand. Why? Because of the weather. Okay, because of the particular weather, that is winter. People enjoy oranges in winters, but there is no supply of these oranges in a particular market or with the particular shopkeeper. Do you think again that the particular shopkeeper will be able to sustain his or her business? No. Why? Because he misunderstood the demand of the market. So in both the examples, you can say that the shopkeeper is not doing good business, and that is why it is very, very important, pertinent for the particular shopkeeper to know that whether the supply and demand is in match or not. If it is in match, definitely the business activities will flourish. Otherwise, we will have a negative impact on the business activities. So this was an overview that how supply and demand can make a dent on a particular business activity, or it can lead to flourishing of that particular business activity. That is the importance of this concept. So agenda is very clear. Concepts of demand and supply, we will study the basic, what is demand, what is supply. We will see what is a demand schedule, what do you mean by demand schedule, and what is the demand curve. Demand schedule, demand curve, they are the same thing. Difference is that in schedule, demand schedule, you create a table, a tabular form. In demand curve, you tend to represent this demand schedule in the curvilinear form. Fine. Market demand, we will study, although it's a very basic concept, but still we will see that what is a market demand. Then supply schedule and supply curve, again the schedule and curve, they will be running parallel in supply component also. Then we have equilibrium of supply and demand. This is important. Fine. When do we achieve the equilibrium in the supply and demand? How we achieve it? Then last topic will be shifts in the demand and supply. Given the fact that the prices, or in some cases the quantities, are not changed, still there is a noticeable change in the demand and supply. So we will look into that concept also. Okay, so how we can introduce the particular concept of demand and supply using two things. One is the concept of consumption. Fine. What is the consumption level of a particular customer? And second, price and quantity. Price and quantity. So price and quantity, they form the basis of this particular concepts study. If you want to study supply or demand, you must study them using the two benchmarks, that is the price and quantity. And here also we will be looking into the whole concept of demand and supply using the components of price as well as your quantity. So as the price will increase, as the price of a particular commodity will increase, then the natural tendency of demand is to decrease, right? If we apply the basic common sense or common knowledge, common logic you can say, then if the prices are rising of a particular commodity, its demand in the market will fall. But on the flip side, if I say that if the quantity of a particular commodity is present in huge number in a particular market, then we can say that the supply is optimum, right? Supply means what? Quantity of goods sold or quantity of goods transported to a market. Fine. And if the supply is increasing, if it is ever increasing, then the prices, the chances are there that prices may fall because optimum supply is there. So basically what I am trying to say is that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity when we talk about your demand side. So prices and quantities have the negative or the inverse relationship when we talk about the demand side. On the other hand, prices are directly proportional to the quantity when we talk about the supply. Okay, these two things you must remember, and you are good to go to start your journey to learn the concept of supply and demand. What is the concept of supply and demand? Basically, the main purpose of the concept is to forecast the market forces. Fine. Forecast the prices and the outputs in individual market. Because as we have just seen that if the shopkeepers are not aware of the demand and supply in the market, their business may run out of the money. Fine. They won't be having any money left if they do not fully understand the market forces, that what all things are being demanded and what we are supplying. So forecast is what? You are just predicting what is going to happen. So if the shopkeeper is smart enough to predict that yes, customers in today's world need iPhone rather than the normal keypad phone, so definitely his business will flourish. Okay, or you can say smartphone, not iPhone. Fine, iPhone is again not a mass product. It's still a very rare sight if we see the telecom industry, the manufacturing of your mobile phones. Okay, now this theory shows how consumer preferences determine the consumer demand for the commodities, while business costs determine the supply of the commodities. Consumers will determine what? Consumers will determine the demand. Whatever the demand is created in the market, who creates it? The consumers. And the supply will be restricted or it will be enhanced by who? Who will do this thing in case of supply? The businessman, the business entities, the particular business owners. So all those business costs from raw material till the finished goods will determine the supply and obviously the prices. Okay. Example, the increase in the price of petrol occurred either because of demand for petrol has increased or because supply of the crude oil has decreased. Fine. So crude oil is what? Basically a raw material here, and demand is what? The consumer. So you can relate this particular fact with this example also, that as there is increase in the price of petrol, it can occur only because of two things. Either the demand has increased, fine, either it has increased, the demand has increased, and in the market the petrol pumps are not left with more petrol. Okay, it's a very basic example. Or second thing would be the supply of crude oil is not there, so raw material is not there, how they will manufacture the finished product. Okay, so in both the cases you will see prices of petrol will rise. Instead of petrol, you can imagine any commodity, it will definitely fit in here. What you need to do? The demand, that is the consumer mindset, you must know, and the supply. Okay, if you know these two things, and specifically for supply, the raw material, if you see the demand side and the raw material side of a good, then you can definitely solve this relationship for any commodity. Fine. The same is true for every market. Changes in supply and demand drive changes in the output and prices. Output and prices. These two terms are important. You should not ignore these terms, output and prices. Output means what? The quantity. Output is what? The quantity, the number which is out there to be sold. And prices are what? Basic prices. Fine. So price and the quantity or the output. Fine. These two things are very, very important. You must know if you want to learn or basically understand the concept of supply and demand. Okay. Now let's move on to core concepts, that is demand schedule or demand curve. In order to study the demand of a particular commodity or a particular product, we must know how its price or its quantity fluctuates. Fine. So we will start with the demand schedule, that we want to study the demand of a particular commodity. How we will do that? What will be the relationship between the, you can say, demand of that particular product and its price, or you can say quantity as well. So we will see that price and quantity, how they behave when we talk about price and quantity, how they behave when we are talking about demand side. Then we will see how these two components, price and quantity, they behave when we talk about supply. So first, demand schedule. There will always be a relationship between the price and quantity of a particular commodity. That's the basic. Higher prices will lead to less quantity purchased. Fine. Higher prices will lead to less demand. Fine. Less demand. This relationship that exists is called the demand schedule. This relationship. of the inverse relationship, which I just told you in the last slide, that in case of demand, the pricing and quantity, they have inverse relationship. This relationship is nothing but the demand schedule. And if I represent this demand schedule in a curvilinear format rather than a tabular format, if I am using the curvilinear format, then I would say that I have got what? Demand curve. Okay, the graphical representation or curvilinear representation of demand schedule is known as demand curve. Okay, any doubt you can ask me. I see there are participants. So if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. Fine, let's move on to the understanding of this particular concept using the example. Now you see that there are two columns. One says the price of a particular commodity. Let's assume the commodity as apple. The price of a particular box having apples. Fine, apple box. One apple box, the fruit apple, okay, it costs 500 rupees. Then the quantity demanded is 9. As the price falls, the demand, the quantity demanded will increase. It will here increase. Okay. So this shows us that we have an inverse relationship. And if we try to plot this data, this schedule into a graph, then we can say if this particular price and quantity refers to A, this as B, this as C, this as D, and this as E. And we try to plot these points in the curve in the, you can say, graphical manner, then we will say this is A, this is B, this is C, we have D here and E here. It will be a inverse relationship. Fine. I hope that everybody knows this kind of relationship is known as inverse relationship. This kind of relationship is known as direct relationship. Fine. Direct means when the y-axis rises, x-axis is also rising. What the inverse relation says, if the x-axis moves towards right, it is increasing, but y-axis is not. Fine, it is decreasing. From here, it has fallen down here. From here, it has moved down to here. Okay. So demand schedule and demand curve, I hope everybody is clear with this concept. Basically, it shows the relationship of your price and quantity demanded. Okay, now what is law of demand? Law of demand is nothing but the balance between price and the demand. We will understand it using example again. So when the price of a commodity is raised, the buyers tend to buy less. That is the basic law of demand. Now why we are studying law of demand, although it is a very basic thing, because there will be certain examples where this law of demand does not apply. Fine, there will be a reversal of this basic law of demand. That is why we must establish first that what is a law of demand. Similarly, when the price is lowered, other things are constant, the quantity demanded increases. Fine, prices are low, so people will demand more. That okay, with let's suppose rupees 10, this particular commodity is more valuable to me rather than for rupees 50, obviously. So it has a certain relationship between price and quantity when we talk about demand. Supply will also have some relationship, that is the direct relationship. Here it is the inverse relationship. Okay, always remember this thing, because whatever concept we study, whatever concept you want to study in the topic of supply and demand, you will feel more comfortable if you know that prices are having a inverse relationship with the quantity when it comes to demand, and have direct relationship with the within themselves in terms of your supply. So quantity demanded tends to fall as the price rises for two reasons. Okay, basically there are two reasons. Theoretically, there are two reasons why the quantity demanded tends to fall. as the prices rise. As the prices are rising, why its demand or the quantity decreases? Two factors as said by many economists. One is the substitution effect, another one is income effect. Now substitution is from the word substitute. If you have a substitute for any commodity, because in demand and supply we are measuring what? We are measuring the demand and supply of a commodity, of a product. So for a particular product, if we have a substitution in the market, a substitute in the market, then definitely this particular relation will be valid. For example, if you can find the alternative or the cheaper goods which you consume, let's suppose you see that there is a price hike, price rise in case of dal, the pulses which we Indians consume. So how you will substitute? You will substitute pulses through vegetables. You will start eating more potatoes. Okay, although the protein quantity is not that much, protein nutrient, the nutritional value is not there in potato, still you can substitute a food item with another food item. Okay. Next is the income effect. A particular commodity can have a direct impact on your income also. How? Let's suppose that we are talking about the petrol. Okay, petrol, its prices are rising. Okay, its prices are rising in a particular economy. Let's suppose that the price of petrol, they are rising. Now how it will impact a particular buyer or a consumer? If the monthly budget for petrol for a particular consumer was, let's suppose, 5,000, that he or she was spending only 5,000 per month. Now since the prices are up for the petrol, his or her consumption will be what? Let's say they are spending now 7,000. So that figure of 2,000, the difference of 2,000 will be what? It will be a price hike, price rise for the household in which that person is residing. Now what the person can do in income effect? They can just move on to the public transport, or for that matter you can say they can walk to the workplace, or they can do carpooling. So various alternatives are there. But here in this particular case, we cannot say that substitution effect will work. Why? Because we cannot replace the commodity, that is petrol, with some other commodity. Here we were doing what? We replaced one food item with another food item. But here we are doing what? We are trying that the impact of a particular commodity's price hike is minimum on our pocket. Because we cannot replace petrol, na? We cannot just say that we can move to diesel cars. Okay, so you have to buy a new car for that. If that is not running on diesel, first you will buy it. If you say that okay, we will buy EV, again the prices are there. You have to pay certain price in order to have that benchmark of diesel or your EV. Fine. So I hope that these two things are clear. As the price goes up, I find myself somewhat poorer than I was before. For example, if the petrol price is double, I have in effect less real income. So I will naturally curb my consumption of petrol and other goods. Okay. So prices are rising and it has a direct impact on your income. Then I will say it is the income effect. Here there is no impact on the income, substitution effect. Here you can just use the alternative, the best or the next best alternative. Fine. If you feel that okay, instead of pulses I can eat vegetable, but I don't like vegetable, I don't like eating vegetable, then you can switch to porridge, the next best option with you. Okay. Or you just say that okay, I won't be having pulses, I won't be having these two vegetables, no porridge. You can move to some other food product which you like. Fine. So there is no, you can say, income effect here, but substitution is happening. Fine. Now let's move on to the market demand. What is market demand? Market demand is nothing but the summation or the overall sum of the individual demands. How? If an individual 1 is creating a particular demand and individual 2 is coming, okay, individual 1 has created a demand, individual 2 has created another demand, individual 3 has done the same thing, till individual n, there are n number of demands, fine. So what this particular set will form? Ultimately, all these individuals will determine the demand of what? Demand of market. So market demand is nothing but all the individuals' demand. Okay. So the fundamental building block for demand is individual preference. Fine, because you cannot just say that market forces are saying you to buy this particular brand or this particular shirt of this particular brand, or buy these kind of shoes. Don't wear sports shoes just to go with the formal shoes. No, nobody can dictate you. You yourself can have that own opinion. The market demand, which represents the sum total of all the individual demands, is what is observable in real world. So it is a theoretical concept, market demand, but in real world, what is there? It is the individual demands that are driving the overall demand, or you can say market demand. The market demand curve is found by adding together all the quantities demanded by all the individuals at each price. I am sitting, let's suppose, in a metro city, okay, and here I am vaguely talking about a market. I have not defined the market. I don't know per se what is the specific definition of the market which I am going to talk about. But what I know is that an individual in this particular region, in this particular metro city, has paid a price of rupees 80 for the quantity 100 or quantity 10. Okay, for a quantity of 10, the particular individual 1 supposedly has paid rupees to 80. Then for your quantity 15, somebody individual 2 has paid 60. Then for 40, individual 3 paid 20. For 20 price, the individual paid, let's suppose, 25. So all these individual prices and the quantities will be clubbed together for this particular metro city to say that now we have a market demand for this particular metro. Okay. So this is how the market demand concept works. Theoretically, it exists, but practically, it is the individual demand which we study. Okay. Now, what are the exceptions to the law of demand? As I told you that we are studying the law of demand, all the very basic, to arrive at the exceptions. Now, the exceptions occur when there is complete reversal of law of demand, complete reversal. Okay. It is almost no law of demand is existing in that particular scenario. So example will be, the most famous example is, if the price of liquor rises, demand will not fall. Fine. Normally what happens, if the price of a particular commodity increases, the price of the commodity is increasing, so its demand will fall. But if I talk about certain items like liquor, people will consume whatever they want to consume, irrespective of the pricing here. Fine. You can argue that some people will start drinking lesser amount of liquor as compared to earlier, but the overall demand will be there. So such kind of goods and certain luxury items, certain luxury goods, and certain basic household daily goods, they are classified as the Giffen goods or the Veblen commodities. Now we will see what are these. So if we talk about Giffen goods, Then economist Robert Giffen, one Scottish economist, he gave this term Giffen goods. Why? How it is present in the every Indian economy, or for that matter economics book, economics text, because when Robert Giffen was present in Ireland, fine, so there was a, you can say, bumper consumption of potatoes there. Okay, people used to consume potatoes at large level, huge level. Now what happened one day, that the prices of potatoes, they just went high and high and high. Still, what Mr. Giffen noted, that the prices are high, still the people are consuming, the demand, that is the consumption, is still high. So it is just the reversal from the law of demand, which says that if the particular commodity's price is high, its demand will fall. But here it is not happening. So he arrived at one conclusion, that there are certain products in the market which are bare minimum, which are very, very essential for the survival, and maximum household are using those products. So potato, bread, then you have some other like onions, tomatoes. So in India also, you might have noticed this thing, that every year, minimum one time phenomena is this, that every year your tomatoes will have high prices. There will be a price rise in case of tomatoes. Still people will consume that. Okay, inflation is there, everything is there, but the basic households will consume these products. So all those products are known as Giffen goods, the basic ones. If we talk about the luxury items, that whatsoever the price of that particular luxury item, be it the supercars, be it the iPhone, be it your luxury bags, or whatever apparels you want to wear, no matter what the price of these commodities are, these luxury items are, their demand will never fall. Okay, so the luxury items fall under the Veblen commodities, and the household, the basic goods, fall under the Giffen goods. Fine. Example for Veblen: high priced mobile phones or the designer bags. Okay, so why we are talking about these two? Because they are the perfect example when it comes to the reversal or the exceptions to the law of demand. Okay, now we have law of diminishing marginal utility. If you guys have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, we are halfway through the lecture. If you have any doubt in the previous slides or previous concepts, you can just ask me. Okay, fine. So let's move on to law of diminishing marginal utility. Here you must remember one keyword. Only one keyword is required to study or to memorize or to understand this particular concept, that is level of satisfaction. Okay, utility, marginal utility, there is certain, you can say, certain studies are being conducted so that we can arrive that a particular commodity, what is its utilization in your day-to-day life. For example, if you are hungry right now and I say that okay, here is one apple from my side, you will just eat the first apple and you say that okay, now I think that I am full, I am feeling full. If I offer you second apple, you will say okay, I can take it, it's not a big issue, I can eat this one also. But starting from third apple, you will feel that okay, now I do not need to eat. But still, if you are eating, you will start to enjoy it lesser as compared to the first or the second apple. And if I continue to offer you apples and you continue to eat them, apple number 4, apple number 5, what will happen? Ultimately, there will be a negative impact on your health, or for that matter, your level of satisfaction. So law of diminishing marginal utility says that as we consume more, we are less satisfied. Okay, each additional unit of consumption will give us lesser and lesser satisfaction as we tend to consume more and more and more. Example is the same one. If you are hungry, then I offer you an apple and the process builds up. Point to be noted here is that there will be a point in the graphical representation of this particular concept where you will have zero marginal utility, and it is known as the threshold or point of sati. Sati means what? Now you cannot enjoy the process. So there is also zero marginal utility, and it can move on to negative point as well. Okay, so you must remember one keyword, that is level of satisfaction. If we are talking about level of satisfaction in particular case study, or for that matter a statement is there in the exam which talks about the level of satisfaction, then you can mark the concept of law of diminishing marginal utility as the right answer. Now what is supply schedule? As we saw the demand schedule, there is supply schedule also. Okay, it will measure what? Price against the quantity supplied. Okay, in the demand schedule it was measuring what? The quantity demanded. Now as you know that in supply, in case of supply, the price and quantity, they have the direct relationship. Okay, so as the prices will rise, the quantity supplied will also rise. Simple, they have the direct relationship, and this relationship, this particular relationship in itself is known as supply schedule. Okay, you can read what is written here because it is for your reference only. The supply schedule or the supply curve for a commodity shows that the relationship between its market price and the amount of commodity that producers are willing to produce and sell, other things held constant. So basically the price of the commodity and the quantity supplied, if we are studying some relationship, the direct relationship between them, then we will say that we are talking about supply schedule. And if I just plot the supply schedule in a graph, in a graphical manner, then what will be the concept named? It will be named as supply curve. Fine. So here are the points A, B, C, D for these only, for these situations. 500 is for A, this situation, yes, this is A. Then we have 400 as B, you can say. This situation is B, where the quantity supplied is 16 as against the price of rupees 400. Then 300 is C here, and here you have 200 with D, and this point you can call it as E. Okay, so these are not the points, these are the situations. A situation refers to what? A point in the supply schedule where the price of commodity or the apple is 500 and the quantity is what? It is 18. Okay, likewise you can study all these data points which are written here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Now let's see what do we mean by the market equilibrium. Equilibrium per se refers to the equality. Fine, a balance, a fine balance is being maintained. Same is the case here also. Equilibrium of supply and demand. So when the demand and the supply forces are same, are equal, then we will say that equilibrium has been established in the particular market, which is also known as market equilibrium. So the market equilibrium comes at that price and quantity where the forces of supply and demand are in balance. Okay, so this particular price where the demand and supply are equal, this particular price is important, known as the equilibrium price and market clearing price. This is the another name of your equilibrium price. At this particular price, the amount that buyers want to buy and the amount that seller wants to sell, they are equal. Fine, this is that price. Supposingly you want to have a particular biscuit or cookies, okay, let's use a fancy term, cookies for rupees 100, that is your demand in your mind, that okay, rupees 100 is the best price which I will pay, the last price, and Britannia comes with same kind of cookie in rupees 100. Here we will say, in this particular situation, what has been established? The equilibrium price. Okay, very small example, but the concept is this only. Fine. The reason we call this equilibrium is that when the forces of supply and demand are in balance, there is no reason to raise or decrease the price. Fine. So whenever we will see that one equilibrium has been attained in case of demand and supply, now theoretically there should not be any reason, no reason is there to increase or decrease the price. Fine, because you have achieved the equilibrium price. But practically this is not possible. We have seen that once the price have increased or decreased or met the demand also, still after some days or some months the prices will eventually increase or decrease also. Fine. Now let's see it in the graphical representation, how we will represent it using the schedule. We have seen this schedule, this and this as your demand schedule, this column and this column as your supply schedule. Now we will look into the state of market. What is the state of market? Whether it is in surplus or is it into the shortage, or it has achieved the equilibrium. When it will achieve equilibrium? When the quantity supplied and quantity demanded are equal. Okay, if there is a mismatch between the demand and supply, and the supply is more than the demand, it will have the surplus. And if we say that the supply is less than the demand, we will have shortage. So you might have noticed these terms, surplus, shortage, in terms of commodities, for use for commodities in newspapers as well. So this is the meaning. Okay, one demand and supply schedule is being created, and based on that, state of market is being deciphered, is being determined. Next is your pressure on price. Pressure on price. Now we have seen the state of market, we must know that what is the impact on the price. The price is neutral, that is, it won't change if theoretically the quantity demanded and supplied are equal. Okay, it will stay neutral. But if we talk about the pressure on price when there is a surplus of that particular product, then definitely prices will fall. And if we see the opposite side of it, if there is shortage of a particular commodity, the prices will move up. Fine. So although very basic things, but you must understand these concepts. Why? Because ultimately when we talk about the theories of economies, these small facts, these small common sense things will help you to make more sense out of all these theories. Now one equilibrium point has achieved. If you see this particular graphical representation, you will notice one thing, that as the demand is on the lower end, as the demand is on the lower end and the supply is moving up, here supply is moving up, demand is at the lower end, then we will have one point. And if the supply is moving down and here the demand is rising, then again we will have one point. Okay, apart from whatever we have studied, I am just giving you some additional info. And when the supply is rising here and the demand is also tending to rise, we will see a shortage. Okay, we will see a shortage. Demand is more. Demand is more. We will see what? We will see the shortage here. Fine. 15, 7, 20, 0. Opposite of it will be what? surplus. Okay, so you can just plot the curves of demand and supply and see for yourself also that there will be one equilibrium point, there will be shortage, and there will be surplus. Okay, now let's move on to the shifts in demand and supply using the example of automobile industry. See, shifts are nothing but the basic movement of a particular curve from its original location or its original position. If I say, when we talk about the demand curve, shift in the demand curve, and I say that the average income of the consumers, because in demand we talk about what? Consumption, the consumers, they are they are paying the money. So if their income has increased, they will demand what? They will demand more. They will say, yes, we can now spend more, we will buy a car now. So if the price of automobile and the quantity demanded for automobile had this particular graph earlier, before the rise in their income, it will tend to shift. It will start to shift on this side, on the rightward side, despite of the fact that there is no price rise. There is no price rise or fall. The prices are the same. Prices are not moving much, but the demand is still increasing. Why? Because the income has increased. So all such cases where the demand is increasing because of whatever reason, given the fact that prices are not making that much shift in the particular situation, we will say there is a shift in demand curve. On the other hand, if we talk about shift in supply curve, what can be the particular scenario in automobile industry only? That the supply is moving upwards. Fine. The automobile industry, the car manufacturing company, they are doing what? Good manufacturing. They are doing bumper manufacturing. So supply will be there. Now how they will do? Either hire more workers, hire more laborers, or do it in the efficient way. Fire certain workers and hire the machinery. Okay, put in the machinery setups so that you can have the efficient way of manufacturing. Fine. In speedy, in timely manner, you can deliver more products than a particular person will do manually. So supply has increased. But whether the price has increased that much or not, whether the price has increased or decreased or remained constant, this is the task for you. Fine. For all those who are watching this session, this is a task. Do let me know in the comment section of YouTube whether the prices have moved that much or not in case of shift in the supply curve. That is your task, and I hope that everyone who is watching this session will drop down one comment each in the form of their answers. Fine. Now let's move on to the questions. Demand schedule is the dash. What do we mean by demand schedule? What kind of relationship it studies? Demand schedule studies which kind of relationship? Relationship between demand and quantity, between the price and quantity, income and demand, or none of these. Quite a confusing question, I would say. Fine. If you are sitting in the examination hall and just look at this question, you will see that, okay, I know the concepts, but all these things are making sense to me. But if you know the concept versus you have understood the concept, that is the only thin line, thin layer between positive marks or 0. Here it is written that demand schedule is what? It is simple relationship between the price and the quantity. What kind of relationship is there? It is the inverse relationship. Fine. So option B will be the right answer. right? Next, guys, do comment in the chat section what is your answer. And for all of you who are watching it afterwards in the recorded form, you must also answer, fine, with the question. That question number 1 answer is this option, let's say B. Question number 2, 3, 4, we have 4 questions. So I want all of those who are attending the session to leave a reply in the form of that task which I gave you. And the second thing which I want from you guys is this format. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 question. What are the options according to you which are correct? Market equilibrium comes at the price at which quantity demanded equals to quantity what? Quantity produced, supplied, inventory, or demand. Very simple question. Option D will be the right answer. That is demand. Quantity demanded. Market equilibrium means what? It will come at a price at which the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied, when Q is equal to S. So option B is the right answer here. Fine. This is here, it is written D, it is option B. Actually, it is option B. Market equilibrium comes at the price at which the quantity demanded equals to the quantity supplied. Yes, option B is the right answer. Okay, fine. Next, the equilibrium price is also known as what? Very simple. Option D, that is market clearing price, MCP. MCP. Fine, guys. So I'm not I am unable to see any reply in the chat section. Do reply, do leave a reply, because that will tell me what I need to push for, what you have understood, whether you have understood or not, everything. Things will be more clear to me. Fine. Shifts in the supply means what? Shift in the supply. The graph which we just saw, what does it implies? Whether it implies that when changes in factors other than goods own price affect the quantity supplied. Or it says that when changes in goods own price affect the quantity supplied. One says that apart from the goods, one says for the goods, when the goods are being taken into the picture, into the consideration. C says both the statements are correct, both these lines are correct. It cannot happen. Fine. These are two contrasting statements, so both cannot be correct. Finally, it says none of these. So what will be the correct answer? We have seen that when the price, the shift in supply means what? When change in the factors other than goods own price affect the quantity supplied, or the changes in the goods own price affect the quantity supplied. Was there any shift or change in the prices when we talk about the shifts in either demand or supply? So option A is the right answer. Other than goods, there is what? Income is rising. Fine. Consumers have more income at disposal, more salary, more money at their disposal, or manufacturing units are becoming more efficient. So these are what? Factors other than the goods own price. So option A is the right answer. Okay. So this was it for this particular session. If you like the content which we provide on our YouTube channel, do consider subscribing it. The channel's name is JAIIB English. Fine. It is specifically meant for the audience, for our bankers or aspiring bankers who want the crisp and concise content in English medium. Fine. Also, I would like to tell you that you should visit our website to explore the courses. We have various courses to cater various needs of yours. Some people need component wise courses, some people need comprehensive courses. Some people need courses with double validity, 6 plus 6 months. So we have taken care of everybody and we have solved that problem of various courses. Fine. So do check the courses on our website and do consider downloading the application, that is official application Adda 247, because it is available on both Google Play as well as the Apple iOS. So the App Store is also having that application, and once you will start using the application, you will feel that it provides you a seamless experience. Fine, seamless experience is being provided. So do check it out also. If you have time, you can just download right now and explore the courses on the app also. Fine. So thank you guys. This was it. I hope that everything was clear. If any doubt is left, any doubt is there in your mind regarding anything pertaining to IE IFS component of JAIIB exam, you can just ask me right now, right away. Or if you are watching this in the recorded format, do leave your query in the comment section. One more piece of information for all of you, that we have launched various courses. So if you are planning to enroll in any of the course, if you want to buy the courses for your preparation, if you want to go for seamless preparation, seamless experience in your preparation, then do consider subscribing to the course which you feel that yes, it is good for you. Why I am telling you? It is because it will save your time. Let's just face the reality. In banking sector, time is of essence. We do not have that much time. And now with the level of exam which is there in JAIIB or CAIIB, it is very hard for a working professional to extract time from the daily schedule, daily office hours, daily, you can say your personal life also. So the question here arises that whether you can solve using the particular products or the particular courses which we offer, then it is, the answer from my side is a definitive yes. Why? Because many of our subscribers have done that, and you can also do the same. Because see, let's just be very clear in our mind that this particular exam needs some professional guidance, because books are bulky, we do not have time, and there is ever evolving nature of questions asked by the IIBF. So if you factor in all these 2-3 things, you will realize that yes, the one-stop solution is the courses. And why are courses? Because we have the most updated material of all. Fine, we have the most updated material because we have a larger base, and we tend to have queries from various students, from various, you can say, domain of students are there who are just freshers, or you can say who have qualified one component or who have qualified whole paper as well. So we take care of the previous year questions, we then analyze those PYQs and try to update our material as well. Material refers to what? Whatever content we are providing to you, and the material which we are giving you in the form of questions, the mock tests. Fine. So if you have that intent of buying the course, you can visit our website, that is Adda 247. As soon as you visit the website adda247.com, you will be redirected to this official page of our platform. You can select from here, you will select what? JAIIB, particularly JAIIB May 2025 is there. So here you can see all the study material, all the courses are available. We also indicate what the latest is happening, like on JAIIB, this particular course, there is price drop sale which is going on, and we have various courses where we include everything from the mock test, live classes, recorded versions, doubt solving if you want in the class, everything is there. If you want comprehensive batch, that we have. If you want mock test, that is also available. Fine. So overall, Everything will be provided if you want to avail any kind of help. Here you can see double validity is there for the courses. Then when we move on to view all, you can see we have various courses pertaining to May 2025 attempt of yours. If you want a bilingual class, you can enroll in this batch. That is bilingual JAIIB May 2025 increment batch. That is the specific name. Increment batch comes with the English medium also. And one important news for everybody who are considering to buy the course, for bilingual as well as for specifically English medium, we are starting a fresh batch from 8th January. So do consider enrolling in this if you want to enroll in a fresh batch. Fine. So this was it from my side. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Let's just suppose you want to buy the bilingual course, or for that matter, which is more relevant is your English medium course for our audience. Fine. So winners batch is there when we talk about the English medium. So when you will click on this particular course, you will find various things, various features, like 400 online live classes are there. You will have interactive sessions. We will try to keep you engaged in whatever topic we are discussing. You will have the recorded videos, and obviously there is limited batch size. Fine, that you must remember. So that is why we say that as soon as the batch is launched, do consider subscribing it. And once you click on buy now, you will have the checkout form where you can apply a coupon. Now here, in order to help you out, I have a special coupon which you will enter, and you will see that there is maximum discount possible is now applied after you use this particular code. What is the code? The code is Y1003. Okay. So apart from the courses, apart from the YouTube class, I know that being a banker, life is not that easy, fine, not at all bed of roses. So what our agenda at Officers Adda 247 is that we help you at every step. So if you have any kind of doubt, any query which we are capable to solve, do share it with us. Do share your thoughts on the content which we are providing, or for that matter, where we can improve. Okay, that is also one thing, so that collectively as a group we can crack the JAIIB and CAB exams. Okay, so if you have any doubt right now, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will meet in the next session. Okay, fine. So all of you who are watching this in the recorded format, do reply in the comment section 2 things. One, the task which I gave you in the supply shift curve, and second, the 4 answers, all the answers of those 4 questions. Fine. So I'll meet you in the next session. All the best.